right, everybody. How's everybody doing? It is Thursday, June 20th, 2024. Happy holiday week. Is this a holiday week? I guess it is, right? We had the day off yesterday. Market was closed. This new Juneteenth holiday, I'm all in favor of. It just caught me by surprise. I'm not used to having a day off in the middle of the week. It'll take me a couple seasons, I think a couple of years to get used to that. But hey, I love it. And I love what it stands for and all that. And hey, anytime you can get a day off, I'm a big fan. Anyway, so this is the jam session for June 20th, 2024. What we do here, if this is your first time tuning in, this is where we kind of discuss a high level of what I'm seeing in the options market or in the market as it pertains to options trading. We review positions that we have on, not all the positions, but we review positions that need to be discussed, whether because we took a partial profit or we're approaching an exit, or we got out for a profit or a loss. We discuss all that. We review and update some stops on existing positions, and we touch on new trades we've put on in the last week. So we do all that here at the All-Star Options Jam session. So if this is your first time joining us, hey, glad you're here. But before we jump into any of the charts, I have to, of course, drop this old disclaimer here that everything we discuss here is for educational purposes only. I'm showing you what I'm doing with my money, and I hope that you learn something from following my process. And by the way, guys, if you have questions as we're going along, I'm going to do my best to check in on the YouTube stream there in the chat box. If you have any questions, put them in there. And if it's relevant to what we're discussing, I'll do my best to answer it. But here, let's bring up the chart of the S&P 500 just to kind of give a big picture view of where we're at. And where we're at right now is, at least at the index level, it appears that the stock market is embarking on its next leg higher, right? We had a great, almost nonstop push off of the late October lows into early April. Then we had a little pullback, and then we had what scared some people into thinking might have been a false breakout right here, but the 50-day moving average held exactly like it's supposed to, and we have reacted nicely. And it feels to me, at least at an index level, that stocks want higher. Now, I'm careful to say at the index level, because if you heard me talking on the morning show with JC and Straza this morning, my portfolio is sending me mixed signals. You can see on the right side of my screen, these are all stocks I have positions in, and my positions are sending me mixed signals. We have some that are working well. We have some that aren't. We have short positions that are working. And, if you look at any of my individual positions, it doesn't necessarily jive with a stock market at all-time highs. Like, just to give you a couple examples here, let's just pull up AMD. Here's a position we're in. It's a semiconductor name, right? It's in a hot sector that's been leading the bull market. And we're in a bullish trade here, but it's not, it's having a great day today, but we've just been sucking wind for the past, 4 weeks as the market's been breaking out. That's just one example, right? Here's Google. Google just kind of going sideways. And you would think Google would be one of the ones making an all-time high because the indexes are making all-time highs. And it's just below its all-time high, but it really hasn't done anything significant in the past 3 weeks. Let's say Bank of America, kind of the same way, but it's starting to show signs of breaking out. Here's Tesla, way off the highs, right? You would think in a bull market where the S&P and the NASDAQ are making all-time highs, a stock like Tesla would be one of those stocks driving the gains. Well, we're not seeing it yet. So I just, cherry picked a few of these positions that I'm currently in. And as you can see, I'm getting a lot of mixed signals from my positions. So just something to be aware of. And, just bring up the VIX chart here real quick. VIX just kind of treading water at low levels, not really giving us any signal one way or the other. If there is a signal to be derived here, to me, it just says, hey, there's not a lot of fear in the market right now. And if you do want to make directional bets, which I'm all in favor of making directional bets, either long or short, if you could find the right setups, in a volatility environment like this, you're likely to find opportunities where you can keep your trade simple and just buy long calls if you're bullish or buy long puts if you're bearish. because generally, now you have to go on a case by case basis, right? There are stocks that do have high implied volatility options right now, so you have to dig in. But generally speaking, implied volatility is pretty low. Not a whole lot of fear out there. All right, so let's get into positions that we need to pay attention to or have had action. Let's start with SE Limited. This has been a great trade for us. One of our biggest winners of the year, if not our biggest winner of the year. I'd have to look back, but this is a trade we got into in February. We entered a risk reversal with June options. We sold the 35 puts and used those proceeds to buy the 65 calls, and we did it all for a 50-cent net credit. And as you can see, it hasn't been a smooth ride, but it's been a lovely ride in total. We sold half of our calls for $6.40. So add the $6.40 credit to the 50-cent credit we already had to get in, subtract the cost, the 15 cents to cover all of our puts. We're already sitting on guaranteed profits here, very nice profits, I should point out. And we still have half of our calls. And the thing is, we're approaching expiration. These calls expire tomorrow. All right. So my current stop on this position is 73.25. When I'm approaching expiration, those of you who've been around for a while with me, you know that if I'm in options, into money options that are in the expiration month, like we are here, I start trailing at a tight stop, a mental stop, right? I have an alert on my chart. I don't leave a resting order in the market. I don't do that, but I have an alert. And if this stock right now were to trade below 73.25, I'll get a little bell to go off here in my trading platform and let me know, hey, it's time to exit. And so right now that 73.25 corresponds with the lowest price we've seen in the past 5 days. Looks like 4 days ago is when we traded down there. Are we going to get stopped out at 73.25? I don't know. I mean, at this point, we only have one more trading day left, so probably not. We'll probably exit this tomorrow. And somebody in the All-Star Options chat room asked me, like, what's your plan for exiting this thing tomorrow? I'm going to use a little bit of discretion, right? I'll watch it intraday. And if we see some weakness, if we see the stock, making new intraday lows, I'll probably exit. That'll be my trigger. I mean, at this point, we're splitting hairs, right? We already have a monster win in this trade. So I'm not that concerned about it. Obviously, if it breaks 73.25 today or tomorrow, I'm out. And even if it does, we're still booking fantastic gains. So C Limited, we'll be out of this thing tomorrow. We have to be out of it tomorrow because the options expire. All right. All right, next up, Ego. These next three trades are the bad news, right? The SE Limited is the good news, and it's good to have a little bit of both. But I'll make this point at the end, but these next three trades are losing trades, and not all trades work out. In fact, I was talking to somebody about this recently about like the trades that we do at All Star Options. We lose on more than 50% of our trades in total, for sure, probably more than 60%. But as you'll see in these losing trades, our losses are small. And when you compare small losses against a win like we had in C Limited, one of these wins pays for 20 losses. And that's the game we're playing. Okay. So let's go back to Ego here. Here's a trade that we exited this week. We got into this trade in middle March. We bought the October 15 calls for $1.20. All right. The thing went our way. We were able to sell half at 260 according to our plan. Our plan was if it got up to, I think the plan was if the calls doubled. I can't remember if it was doubled or if it got above 16. I think maybe it's actually above 16. Then we would sell half of our position. I did that. So when I sold half at 260, that already paid me back for the full debit that I paid when I got into the trade. I paid $1.20 to get in. I sold half for 260. So now I've already banked guaranteed profits, right? Well, our updated stop was the 15 level. We wanted to see Ego close or not close below 15. It did that, as you could see here. So we closed our remaining calls at $1.40. But hey, we sold half for $1.40, the other half for 260. On average, what's that? $2. We paid 120 to get in. So it's actually a winning trade. It feels like a losing trade because we got out at our stop, our updated stop, right? It felt like a loser when we got out earlier this week, but hey, it's still a winner. So that's some good news. JD.com. This is one of those China plays that we were in. It didn't work. We got into this trade in late April. We bought a September bull call spread. We bought the 30 calls and sold the 40 calls. We paid 280 for it, and it was looking pretty good for about 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks. And then the rug came out from under it, came down, bounced off the 50-day moving average. I was hoping that maybe that 50-day moving average would act as support. Well, as you can see, it did not. Our updated stop was at 29. We closed below it this week. So we got out of this spread for $1.79. Not a terrible loss, though. We paid $2.80 to get in. We got out for $1.79. And I should remind you that when I initially put this trade on at 280, right? And this is with all defined risk trades that I put on. I shouldn't say all, but probably 99% of the defined risk trades that I put on, I am fully prepared to lose 100% of the premium that I paid. I don't want to lose 100%, but I'm fully prepared. I've sized my position in a way that if I were to lose, if this position ended up being a zero, that zero would really only impact my total portfolio by no more than 2%, ideally 1%. That's it. Anything more than 2% is irresponsible as far as I'm concerned. I know there are other traders out there that would disagree, and they have different algorithms for managing their risk, and that's fine. If it works for you, keep doing it. But for me, I don't want any one position to severely impact my portfolio. That's just no way to live for me. I can't sleep at night when I'm doing that. I want every position that I put on to basically be equal. They all start off at an equal footing. Now, once they work, if some trades are working out for us, like that C Limited, it becomes a bigger position, but that's at that point, we're playing with house money, and that's no problem. But the losses, we want to keep them small. So even if I lost 100% on this trade, it would have been no big deal, but we didn't. We got out $1.79. Awesome. I'll take those kind of losses all day long. All right. Finally, the last position we exited was CNX. We bought some January 30 calls back on about May 29th. It looked like we were geniuses for about 3 days. I think we bought it on this red candle day right there in the middle. And we were looking like geniuses for about 2.5 days, maybe 3 days. And then the market had other ideas. But again, we paid $1.10 for it. I was fully prepared to lose all of it, but we got out for 60 cents. Awesome. Awesome. I'll take those kind of losses all day long, as you know. All right. That's it for positions that we've had action on in the past week. The next thing that we like to do is we like to update our stops, but good news, bad news, I guess. We don't have anything to talk about. All we had was the C Limited. All the rest of our positions, they're kind of going sideways. They're not really doing anything. There was really no opportunities to tactfully move our stops up in the direction of the trend. We have some short positions on, but no stops to adjust. So all we really did was adjust this C Limited again, because we're approaching expiration. So sorry, guys, not a whole lot to talk about on the updated stops front. That's either good news or bad news, depending on your point of view. I think it's good news. I don't want to have to keep moving. Well, actually, no. I would prefer to be updating stops, because that means we've got positions that are probably working in our favor pretty well. So, hey, no updated stops. But we will talk about some new positions we've put on in the last week. We've put on 2. This is, again, a holiday shortened week. So we only have 2 positions on, 1 bearish and 1 bullish. Let's talk about the bearish trade, Square or Block, whatever you want to call it. The details for this trade, as I always say, every jam session can be found at allstarcharts.com. Head to the member section, head to the options section. You will get detailed trading plans for every trade that we put on. Why we like the setup, how we're playing it, what type of option strategy are we employing, right? Where do we stop out if we're wrong? Where do we manage risk? Where do we take profits if we're taking profits at all? All those details and more are laid out in every blog post. So on day 1, when you get that trading plan, you've got everything you need to manage that trade going forward. All right. So if you want that info, head to allstarcharts.com. If you don't have access, shoot us an email. We'll get you hooked up. We'd love to have you in the community. But here in Square or Block, whichever you want to call it, we put a bearish trade on. Remember at the top of the show, I was talking about how the market's sending me mixed signals. And last Friday, if you haven't heard, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ both ended the week at all-time highs, which on the surface sounds wonderful. But my portfolio of mostly long positions got crushed. I shouldn't say crushed, but we had a bad day, which you wouldn't have thought. If I didn't look at my positions at all on Friday and I was off, up in the mountains on a hike, which is what I like to do on my time off, and I came home after the market closed and saw that NASDAQ and the S&P closed at all-time highs, I would have said to myself, yeah, my portfolio probably made some money today. Excellent. But that was not the case. I was down. So with that being the environment we're in, I do want to continue looking for some short opportunities to provide some portfolio ballast, right? To provide some diversification for my portfolio in case in case we're heading for a turn here. So Square is one of those positions. Block is one of those positions. We got a bearish position on here. If you want the details, go to the blog. Microsoft, bullish position, right? I mean, how can you not be bullish in Microsoft breaking out here? This is an all-time high in Microsoft. I love buying all-time highs. You've heard me talk about this before. All-time highs are my favorite trade in the world. I don't always play them identically. I trade them differently. Microsoft is an example. But we are bullish Microsoft. We like the setup here. We think this thing could really move a lot higher. It seems like the market's favoring large caps right now, and Microsoft is certainly amongst the largest of the large caps. So bullish Microsoft. All right. So to recap, you guys love the updated stop slide. Unfortunately, there's only one updated stop to talk about, and that's the C limited at 63.25. Guys, if you have any questions at all, hit me up. Shoot us an email, info@allstarcharts.com. And hey, guess what? Bonus, guys. If you like the charts that I share in these shows, my friends at TrendSpider hooked me up with these charts, and I love using them. They're great. If you like them too and you want to try them out, they offered me a special deal to offer you guys. Go to trendspider.com and use my promo code Sean50, and they're going to give you 50% off monthly and annual subscriptions. So check it out. If you like it and you want to give it a whirl, tell them Shawnee sent you. Use that promo code Sean50. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Have a great rest of your trading day. Great rest of your weekend. Summer, baby. Enjoy the summer while it's here. We'll be back next week. Until then, talk to you then. Take care.